Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Gotham City. I'm your host, Levi Rosman. This is a podcast where I talk to people who live in the chess world on the 64 squares and beyond them. And in this episode, I am speaking with a good friend of mine, International Master Anna Rudolph. She is currently a full-time YouTuber and Twitch streamer, among other things digital. But in the past, she was a chess commentator and course creator and educator. Anna has done everything in the world of chess, from competing on an Olympic team to actually doing commentary on the World Chess Championship match alongside Judith Polgar. I hope you enjoyed the conversation. Hi, Anna. How are you?
I'm good. It's been a while, Levi. We used to see each other every day. We would get bored of each other's company, but I no longer host shows with you. I'm missing the company, actually. I would have never thought I would say it.
Like, because it's me or because it was such a terrible job?
I think we were a good team.
We were a good team.
In hindsight, I think we were a good team. You taught me how to trash talk, so I learned a lot from you. No, but in all seriousness, it was great to be hosting the Champions Tour coverage with you and the charity shows on Hikaru's channel. It was our monthly gig, and we no longer have that regularity because we all do our own things now.
Yeah, what own things are we doing? By we, I mean you. Like, I saw you just recently drop merch, so you also moved countries, and also your power went out for 2 seconds just now. So, give me the lowdown on the Anna life. Like, why'd you move to Spain, and then like how did this? Well, I'll ask about the merch drop after, but yeah, why Spain?
Sure.
Why you went back?
Yeah, I lived in Spain before the pandemic, as some of you guys know, if you followed me for a while. I love Spain. It's such a great country. It's nice and warm, and people are friendly, and it's chill. I love the culture here, the food. And then I was still living in Spain when I met Kevin, but obviously we started dating, so I started traveling more and more to Ireland. And when the pandemic hit, I was like partially living at his place in Ireland, but never fully moved. I was still renting a place in Spain. But suddenly there's the pandemic. I can no longer return to Spain. I have all my stuff at that apartment, and yet I cannot fly to Spain. So I was stuck in Ireland. I think I was happily stuck, obviously, for the company. It's much better to be stuck with your loved one and not be apart. That would have been worse, I guess, if I'm in Spain in the moment when the lockdown started.
That would be terrible.
It was a weird
yeah.
one. Yeah, it was a weird one. And I had a friend of mine help me move out my things, and I had to give up the rent by phone. And luckily they allowed it to happen because it was just in lockdown. Well, obviously, you cannot do anything from a different country.
Really? They've let you not pay?
Well, I paid the first few months, but then I realized that, hey, this is here to stay. I will never be able to return in the near future. So I'm going to need to give up the rent because this is going to be just like, I'm throwing out money every month by renting a place I cannot go to.
I'm not sure they would have let you do that in the United States. We're very, you sign that lease and I got lucky with this burglary because
Lucky with the burglary.
No.
I'm so sorry for what happened to you guys.
That's okay. Listen, it's unless you did it, in which case, yes, you should apologize. But I don't mean the burglary was lucky. But although it put us into a very nice place where we live now, we have less space, but we have better security. It's a good neighborhood. But a lot of dogs around, like a lot of dogs. I don't know why there's so many dogs, but I love dogs. The landlord was basically just said, look, if we don't find the tenant, like, you have to pay me the rent.
After the burglary?
Yeah, and I called him. I'm like, really? You like, I have to pay you rent even though someone just broke into the house? He's like, yes. I mean, I didn't cause it, but luckily,
oh my God,
we avoided any problems. And I like contacted my lawyer, and she said, well, actually, my lawyer I did not contact for this issue, but I contacted multiple people, and they said, yeah, if you sign a lease, it really doesn't matter. As long as it's not the landlord's fault that something happens, you still have to pay the rent. But luckily, we found somebody. I have to tell you, though, the guilt that I experienced when the new tenant was being shown the apartment was pretty high. Because imagine, I told Lucy, like, let's just leave when it's being shown. Sometimes you can be at home when it's being shown. Yeah. I said, let's leave. Because imagine the new tenant says, how long have you been living here? 11 days, it just got broken into.
Why do you need to leave this place?
Yeah. So I said, you know what? I'm just going to let the broker handle that. Like, it was a felt bad, you know, but
Yeah.
the upstairs tenant was going to install a camera, so hopefully everything will be fine. But have you ever had something like that happen to you, like a break-in? Because so many people contacted me and said, I had a break-in before, it's a terrible feeling. I was shocked, like how many people have
Yeah.
experienced it.
No, I luckily did not, knock on wood, because after your story, I started to I started to be even more concerned, and just in general, the life of a content creator, as sometimes fans trying to figure out your home's address, the location, and then they show up. Actually, yesterday, I was talking to Rubius. PogChamps 4 is going on, and he's one of my students again, and he was just saying on his stream how people start showing up at his house, which is now even more weird because he moved to Andorra. So people from Spain drive to his house, parents bringing the children as if it was some kind of a touristic site. Let's go to Rubius's house. Maybe he will come out and we can take a picture of him. Wow. And obviously he doesn't want to leave his house. And he just keeps telling people that there's a boundary to everything, and he's super happy meeting fans at events, in a restaurant, on the street. He takes pictures with everyone he meets, and he's really keen on meeting his fans. But there's a boundary to everything, and if you don't respect one's privacy, he doesn't even know how people know where he lives. Obviously, he was being very cautious, but for whatever reason, someone figured it out and started spreading it into the internet. People start showing up at his place, even driving from Spain to Andorra.
That is insane. Yeah, I guess with a guy like his size, do you know in the United States we have like the letter to describe what level of celebrity you are, like A-list, B-list,
really?
C-list. Yeah, so you know, like the major actors and actresses are obviously A-list. Maybe there's something even above that.
Yeah.
So like you and I might be, I don't know, E-list. If there's maybe
I was gonna say Z.
maybe yeah, maybe.
Very bottom. Maybe. I don't consider myself a celebrity. Maybe Kevin would be a bigger one in our household, but you are a YouTube celebrity.
Yeah, like more on YouTube obviously than on Twitch. But even still, I mean, it's very unlikely to encounter that kind of stuff. But yeah, once you get to, I would imagine Rubius at his size is probably at least B, with just how massive he is. I mean, he's the biggest streamer, Spanish-speaking streamer, right?
So, yeah, he is the biggest on YouTube, and on Twitch, I think he's number 3 among all languages. So obviously massive audience, but that doesn't mean that people can treat him as a sightseeing location and a zoo.
Yeah. That's scary. How's your experience with interacting with people like on the street if they recognize you? You've had good experiences? Any weird ones?
Good experience mainly, but I haven't been recognized much. It's mainly that Kevin gets recognized, especially in Ireland. He's mainly the one that gets recognized, and then we stop for a picture. I was recognized recently only once. It's like we haven't really left the house much, so we don't give much of a chance. Now in Spain, it's even less likely because, well, I do sometimes host Spanglish streams, I call them, when I speak both English and Spanish. And obviously for PogChamps 4 with Rubius and Cristinini, I have some of the lessons in Spanish because of them. But I don't have a massive Spanish-speaking audience. So in Spain, so far, no one has stopped us. It was mainly a thing in Ireland. And only once when we were walking on the street at a random town, a guy stopped us and I was like so ready to take a picture of him and Kevin. And he was like, "Oh, you're Anna." And then he looked at Kevin. I think I told you this story, Levi, before. He looked at Kevin and he was like, "And you are the YouTuber."
Yeah. Yep. I remember that on commentary. Yeah, that's funny. Very few people will go, "Hey, you're Levi." I think that's happened a few times, like just out of pure shock. Most people are like, "Excuse me, are you this person?" And then, yeah, there's a good percentage of people that you take pictures with. Some just say they love the content. My like two strangest experiences, not by any fault of their own, but well, actually no, that's the wrong phrasing. It was kind of their fault for making it a bit strange, but I think people just sort of like freak out. They like take step one to introduce, like to recognize you, but then they don't really know what to say beyond that. I've been the victim of that myself when I've recognized people. There was an individual who spotted me in our local pharmacy, like 2 minutes from our house. It's like I started looking back the whole way to make sure that he wasn't following us home. And then,
oh my.
Yeah, recently actually around here, like there was a guy who was like, "Hey, Levy," like he was with a group of friends, and then I was like, "Hey," and the guy goes, "Oh, you live around here?" And I was like, "Yeah," and then he goes, "Where? Like which building?" You know, because there's like some buildings. I'm like, "Boss." That was the wrong question to ask in the middle of not knowing what to ask. Did you not just realize I was burglarized? Like, hey, where's your house?
Yeah.
So yeah, that was funny, but that was that was pretty innocent.
Yeah, I feel like oftentimes those questions are innocent because it happened to us at the gaming conventions. Before the pandemic times when TwitchCon and other conventions were on, and I went to Kevin's meet and greet, and a lot of people would ask Kevin like, "Oh, we're in Ireland, we're in Cork," because I guess for anyone who is not exposed to how dangerous it is, that people know, even the town, the city, just like anything specific. So they would ask just like casually, "Oh yeah, I'm also from Cork, so we're in Cork."
I know. Yeah, I had a guy at the gym be like, "Hey, like what neighborhood did you live in when you got burglarized?" And I was like, I straight up said, "I'm not going to tell you that. But have a good workout," like something like that. I was like, "I'm sorry, no disrespect meant, but I'm not telling you where I used to live."
Of course. How's your workout going? I saw you posting a video in a tank top.
Yes,
that's
yes.
new.
No
that's
video.
new.
No, just a photo, no video. It's going well. The past few days I haven't gone because I commute to the gym. Like I'll take a bike ride, and on the weekends it just closes at 7 p.m. and that really shortens the day because the weekend you try to enjoy, and all of a sudden it's 3 p.m. and you're really sleepy. So when are you gonna have time to go to the gym? But it's been going well. It's been like something that I've been able to do pretty consistently. I would love to say things like it boosts your confidence in other things and everything. I don't know if it's that abstract, but for me it was like good to build a routine and try to eat healthy. But I don't calorie count, and I very generally try to follow the diet side of things. But I lift heavy objects and I put them down. And then today, the gym offers a complimentary Pilates session. So,
have you signed up?
Yeah, I'm going in 4 hours because I've heard Pilates is really good for your core, which is good for your lower back.
Yeah.
So
I used to go to Pilates. Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
I'm the kind of person that I'm not that much of a gym person in terms of like weightlifting as such, but I would sign up to courses. So I attended Pilates, yoga, Zumba, even hip hop dance, which I was like, yeah, this will be good to move. But it was actually like really difficult because you had to do like kind of acrobatic moves and be on the ground, like with your head and just then flip and whatnot. And I was like, okay, maybe the hip hop was a bit too much. I think it was called funky hip hop. And we were practicing for an actual performance on stage.
Wow.
And that's when I realized this is not meant to be a workout.
Wow. Did you like Pilates?
I liked it a lot. And it's more difficult than what people think. I think there are sometimes a few confusions about Pilates being like, first of all, a lot of people think it's only for girls or women. Not true. I had a lot of guys in my class. And second, people think it's just something light and easy. Also not true.
Yeah, I know it's going to be really difficult. And the core, like the abs, just something that I don't work out. I have a mat at home. I tried some yoga, like tried some abdominal exercises. But yeah, I find it a lot more fun to work out like arms or shoulders, and then I know I have to work out my core, which is why I'm gonna try to do this, and then I'll see if there's some other classes. I think I would die in a dance class. But life is long, so I'll probably end up trying one. Lucy and I were thinking to sign up for some kickboxing, but I got to tell you, I'm almost at a point. I would prefer to have a trainer come to my house because I'm just a little bit weirded out, like being in public and looking like a total idiot, like working out, I don't want someone to like record me or something. And, it's like stuff that I'm thinking about. Like, I'm just more comfortable now in my house. Maybe it's the pandemic, maybe it's the audience, but this like stuff I got to think about. Like, it's like, damn, I got to pick my nose up. Can't do that, you know. I gotta. Like,
Someone will see it and record it and tag me on Twitter.
Oh my god, yeah, I don't know. It's just stuff that maybe it's like stupid. Maybe it's just a very silly thing to think about. But yeah, I like I said, a couple of people have like seen me at the gym, and I don't want to, you know, drop a bar on myself and then become an internet meme or something. So.
I would love to see those memes, and then I can pull your leg again.
Yeah, Levy dropping a bar on himself, like while working out.
Maybe not that. I don't want you to hurt yourself, but I would embrace a meme like that. I'm sure you're doing well. I'm sure you're doing well. All jokes aside.
Have you stayed consistent with workout, classes, diet, like through all this pandemic? Did you? How were you taking care of all that stuff?
I try to eat healthy. I'm very religious about eating porridge because I like it and I feel like it's a healthy dish. So I can eat porridge for breakfast, lunch, dinner, maybe not all three courses, but at any point of the day if I'm
mildly
hungry.
Depressing, yeah. If you
No, I wouldn't have only porridge. So no, like once a day I would have a big bowl of porridge with bananas, nuts, blueberries, strawberries, like depending on what do I feel like. I add this or that, nuts and honey, and I love it. I love porridge. I feel like it's one of the healthiest dishes that I eat on a very regular basis. And I prepare salads, fresh salads with lettuce, tomato, goat cheese oftentimes, or any other type of cheese, feta cheese, mozzarella. I'm a huge fan of cheese. So as long as it has cheese in it, the salad, it's a nice salad. And anything fresh, just fruits. I eat a lot of fruits. I feel like it. And it makes me feel really good that I'm eating, not just that it's healthy. So I think it's not like I have to eat healthy all the time, but it's healthy and delicious. So yeah, I would never say no to a juice, smoothie, or just fresh fruits.
That there was a big lack of meat there. Are you like consciously vegetarian, or do you just eat like not so much meat?
I used to be pescatarian, so I try to be vegetarian, but sometimes eating salmon. I like fish, especially when it's salmon or sushi. But it was so difficult to keep up with that diet at events, at tournaments, basically, because back then I was still a competitive player, and I traveled with the Olympic team. At I think it was the Istanbul Chess Olympiad where I was still a pescatarian.
Oh, that's crazy!
I would look at,
wow.
It was just like, do you know how these events work? That especially a chess Olympiad is about 3 weeks long. You're staying at the same hotel every day, the same restaurant. It's not like you can order a la carte, but you are given a buffet choice. Mm-hmm. So the buffet would have plenty of choices for someone who eats everything. But if you don't eat meat or fish or no gluten, or just if you're allergic to something, then suddenly the options are very limited. So at the Istanbul Chess Olympiad, I started experiencing how not every country or every buffet of any restaurant is ready for those kind of specific diets. It was the same fish every day with the same rice or same pasta. And I just really wanted to eat healthy, but instead of healthy, it was just the same thing, and just getting really bored of it and not feeling like it's good for my body. I was very disappointed. There was not much fresh fruits or fresh vegetables, just the same fried fish. And for me, I guess I was lucky that at least I ate fish back then, because I don't know what an actual vegetarian would have done there.
Are you vegetarian now, or did you?
No. I stopped, I think after a year and a half. So I eat mainly chicken sometimes, but I'm not like huge on meat. It's not that I don't want to eat it. I think I eat very light and super often. I eat a lot. I love food, but I don't feel like eating many kind of on the heavy side of meals. When I feel like a big steak sometimes, maybe very very rarely, because I like steaks. I like meat, but I feel like on a daily basis, I just prefer things that are fresher and lighter. I guess just to not feel that like full and sleepy, because I want to keep being active and get back to my stream and do this for the video edits and just, feel productive.
Yeah, that sleepy feeling, I definitely know, but it's true, like I'll eat meat and I'll eat a big meal and I'll feel very sleepy, like food coma. But I probably also have other lifestyle choices that aren't the best, like sleep, for example. maybe 6 to 7 hours instead of 8 or 9 consistently. Probably checking my phone too much before I go to sleep. But I have definitely noticed I'll order a big platter of food and I'll eat like 20% of it, let's say, and I'm full.
Yeah.
I'm happy. But if you just keep sitting me there, I will just slowly keep eating it. I'll 5-10 minutes go by, I'm having a conversation, or I'm watching something, I'm just gonna start eating. But I need to learn to not do that. I need to learn to just hit the pause button. But the problem is that when you order food, you very rarely just get a small platter, which is part of the reason that I like. Lucy and I recently went to a restaurant, slightly on the fancy side, and we always were of the opinion that these restaurants serve you these platters that are very small on a big plate for the aesthetic. But we went to this restaurant and we ate all these dishes, and by the end we felt like wonderful. We ate all these dishes that tasted incredible, and we weren't sleepy. We didn't feel full. I was like, maybe that's another part of it. Sure, maybe they can save money and it's the plating, but I ate and I felt awesome. Like, okay, I felt good. I don't feel sleepy. I don't feel gross. I definitely experienced that feeling a lot. And I don't exactly know how to combat it, because some
siesta. Spain has already invented the solution. I just can't. I even before the pandemic, when I consistently lived 10 years in a row in Spain, I was like, I can't. I need to be extremely exhausted. If I slept like 3 hours the previous 2 nights, then I'm like, okay, maybe today I should take a nap, because I'm just like overworking my body, my mind. I can no longer put together a sentence. I'm on zombie mode, then I would take a nap. But I'm not. As in like regular naps. No, because I feel like I need to be working during the day. I need to be active.
Do you sleep a lot?
I try to sleep at least 7 hours. I don't always manage, but I try.
Do you drink caffeine?
I used to be just a tea person and G Fuel. Obviously, G Fuel.
Mutually sponsored G Fuel podcast episode. Yay.
No, I actually love this shaker, and everyone knows that the big shaker, my G Fuel big shaker, is for water. The medium-sized one is for the G Fuel hydration formula or energy formula, depending on which part of the day. And I have a third one that's like a Twitch together with G Fuel purple shaker. I drink hot beverages from that. So that in Ireland was my tea shaker. But here in Spain, we started having iced coffee, and it's really nice. So I just drink iced coffee because it tastes good. And it replaced the tea in the morning, because hot tea in a very hot weather, it's not the same.
Yeah, I love iced coffee, but I'm getting to the point where these cafes are just scamming the hell out of you. I mean, they give you like 80% ice, some coffee, and...
Yeah. No, we make our own iced coffee. I recommend it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I make my own coffee. So I have like a cup here, and I use an AeroPress, the thing where you pour it in and then you press it down with your hand. And it's cool. It's not a French press, it's an AeroPress. And it makes... I don't know if it's good or not, but I've started to learn more about the coffee industry and how in the United States, if they make the beans and then they ship them to the supermarkets, they will not tell the supermarket, well, some do, when the beans got roasted. But what they do when they send it to the supermarket is they will say, it's best by, they say like best used by this date, at least here. And you don't know when it was made, because you also don't know the lifespan. Maybe it's like a 6-month lifespan. So it's very difficult. Like if you go to the store now, August 30th, there might be beans that were roasted in June or May that are still on the shelf. And if you're like a coffee perfectionist, then you don't like that. So I was able to find some the same day, but it gave me some ideas. Like these stores just have this inventory that, is like months old. Maybe there's a way to fix that somehow. But, Anna, as gatekeepy as the chess community is, the coffee community, oh
is
my
it
God.
Even more?
I
Tell
think
me
it's
about
worse.
it.
I think it's bad. Like, the learning curve for coffee is excruciating. I was Googling for hours, the different machines, the different methods, the different like machines to grind your own beans at home, the different machines to make the coffee. I was going on Twitter and posting, and people were fighting wars in the comments about, the best kind of roast and everything, and the best kind of, and I'm sitting there like, man, I thought chess was a problem. Yeah, coffee is crazy.
I didn't know. I didn't know that it's something that other communities have too. I'm happy to see that the chess community is more and more welcoming. I think the Queen's Gambit and PogChamps, now we are at PogChamps 4, but the series as a whole, I think those kind of events and the series itself, obviously Queen's Gambit was huge for the chess community, and it started getting in more and more people who were just like very casual about chess. And it's great because chess is a game for everyone. I never understood why some grandmasters or anyone in the chess world would have the mentality that no, this game has to be just played perfectly. We can only broadcast games of the best chess players in the world, which are great. Obviously, I love watching Carlsen versus Hikaru again, and then the World Chess Championship coming up, and that's awesome. And the Gotham chess recaps. But other than that, there's room for everybody. People don't need to play perfect chess. Sometimes it's even more exciting when the game goes up and down, the evaluation board is dancing, and it really is a game that anyone can play at any age, any cultural, financial background. Doesn't matter the language you speak. It's such an inclusive game. It should be welcoming everybody and not dividing people. So I never understood when some of the chess community members or grandmasters would speak up and talk BS about people who may not have a rating of 2000 or above.
Amen to that. You were pretty deep in the chess world compared to someone like myself. I never played a tournament abroad until...
That is crazy. Like, I still don't believe it. Because we have the same title, and you probably will go way beyond because you have a chance to get a grandmaster norm.
I don't. We'll see about that. But for now, yeah, I grew up in a household where I wasn't really pushed toward the game. It was sort of like, oh, this is our kid, and this is like his thing, and we don't know much about it, but we'll support him when we can. But my dad was chiefly responsible for a lot of my chess traveling and tournaments and everything, compared to my mom. But yeah, like World Youth was not a thing. I never went to a World Youth Chess Championship, and I wasn't good enough to go to, obviously, Olympiad, because we had players in the country who were already grandmasters and very strong ones in the States. So I played my first international tournament in like Barbados. I don't even know, maybe 5-6 years ago. And it was just a very small invitational. And then I played a tournament in the Czech Republic, which I didn't even get to finish because I got sick. So...
Oh, no.
Yeah, maybe I'll play another tournament internationally at some point. But you are quite embedded in the chess world, because before all this online stuff, you were an Olympiad player. So how do you look back on your playing career and all the traveling that you did and the tournaments? And you talk about the community not necessarily being the nicest, particularly to women. So what was that experience like growing up, playing all those Olympiads? And I'm very curious because I don't really know. Like the podcast version, I don't even know the stream version when we talk during commentary, but I don't know the serious talk version of it either.
I think I loved it. I certainly didn't feel like it wasn't welcoming me as a girl when I started out. I had girlfriends and guy friends at the chess club, so it was just like a bunch of kids from primary school that I started hanging out with. We would go to the same chess club, then attend chess camps and go to the same children's tournaments, and I really liked it. I never felt like not that welcomed as a kid. I think I only started realizing as a teenager or young woman that certain players would have a prejudice about women's chess, the so-called women's chess, and they would not necessarily resign against me as soon as they would resign against a male player of the same rating. They would think that I can still mess up, which is fair point. You don't have to resign. It just, at certain points, it felt a bit more disrespectful, just so that they think that me at the same rating versus a guy of the same rating, the guy is obviously a lot better than me, so they would resign against him with a rook down, but not against me with a rook down. And then, of course, the lip balm story happened, which was for me the biggest very negative experience. But that is just, I don't know. I don't know, Lev, if you want me to sum it up. I know you know the story. I think many of the viewers know it too. It was just shocking to me, I guess, that I was accused of cheating because I wasn't a young prodigy, especially not a young boy prodigy. So if it was a 12-year-old boy, I think none of those accusations would have happened. At least that's how they made it feel like. I don't have a proof of that, and I'm sorry if I misinterpreted their behavior, but it kind of felt like their accusation was hugely based on the fact that I was about a 20-year-old girl, and I'm not supposed to be playing this good.
Yeah, there's a quick summary, but in which year was it?
2007, I think, end of 2007, and the story broke at beginning of 2008 in New York Times, New York Post, Australia, Denmark, the cartoon and whatnot. Like, I saw my name and the story everywhere. It was crazy.
The incident happened in, I was gonna say 2007, 2006, but when in 2007 did this happen?
Very end. It was between Christmas and New Year's tournament in France.
So yeah, you were playing in France. And yeah, I mean, Anna did like a full video on this, so without spending the next 40 minutes on this subject, you were accused of cheating, and the primary piece of evidence was a lip balm, which I would believe in 2021 more than 2007, but that sounds like some sort of James Bond, kind of lip balm. What I'm always fascinated about is how was the lip balm... I'm going to ask kind of a humorous question. When they accused you, was the lip balm like the immediate piece of evidence cited, or was it like, we don't know how she's doing it, so check the lip balm because we're sort of out of ideas? Was it like one of those things, or was it like, it's the lip balm, it has to be the lip balm, or it's like, we have no clue, but she's definitely cheating, so look at her lip balm? Like, what was the logic there? Because aren't they chess players? Aren't they supposed to be smart?
Yes. So I think maybe at the start they didn't know the method, and they were also guessing which engine I'm using, because first they said it was this engine and then they said it was that engine. The shorter version of how they did the whole process of accusing me is that after 4 rounds, because I was leading the tournament, I beat the strongest opponent of my life at that tournament. It was the best performance of my life, but because it was the best performance of my life, these 3 gentlemen thought that I couldn't be playing on my own. I must have had some kind of help, some kind of assistance. I was on my own at the tournament. It was my own chess club that organized it. I played for that French team for years. But because the only object I had with me always was the lip balm, I think they just ended up coming up with the conclusion that it has to be the device, because that was the only thing that was always on me. Nowadays I use this kind of lip balm, but back then it was a tin. So it was like, it would be like this size as the mirror, maybe a bit smaller, a tin that you would open, and there's lip balm, and you apply it, and then you close the lid. So their idea was that the way I'm cheating is that I open the lip balm, I look into the lid, and inside the lid there's a microchip that's connected with a wireless internet to my backpack, so I see the move inside the lip balm. Yeah. I thought it was a joke. I wish it was a joke, but no, they actually meant it.
So yeah, that just blows my mind. I mean, it's probably just a testament to your play, and as it's been so long since then, do you still, you look back probably humorously on this story rather than angry, or because I'm sure you were extremely pissed off in the moment, and like you were looking for some sort of justice, which obviously nothing's going to happen, right? I think you submitted something and then nothing ended up happening, if I remember correctly. Or
the Hungarian Chess Federation submitted an appeal to the International Chess Federation, to FIDE, to the Ethics Commission.
It's not even an appeal, it's like an action against someone, right?
Yes, or maybe I'm using the wrong term there. It was a legal action taken. But I don't think, I never actually knew if there was any, I guess nothing happened, because then if something happened, I would have known. There was no ban, not even a like not even a temporary one for like a few months, or just a call to action, like, hey, maybe you could apologize to her.
Yeah.
They never did.
Yeah, that's pretty wild. I don't.
But speaking of the joke, because you were saying if I take it
Uh-huh.
on the jokey side, and you said I did design merch. This is one of the details I love on my merch. There's a little queen, for instance, at the bottom of all hoodies and t-shirts, and if you flip it, it turns into a
Lip balm.
lipstick. Yeah,
Oh.
nowadays it's more of a lipstick, the meme. So every time I'm streaming and I'm like, oh, I need more brain cells. And then I'm just like, I start applying lipstick on stream and like, I need to be sharp in the next game. And then start painting my lips. It has become a huge meme in my community, and
That's
we try
good.
to embrace it.
That's good. Wow, you have it embroidered onto the merch on the other side.
Yeah.
What did you do for your merch? I know there's multiple ways you can do it. You can like pay a designer to. I remember Cutie was explaining this to me. There's 3 ways that like Ludwig has done it, for example. Do you have like proprietary ownership of the brand and the like? How did you go about it? And then you were also moving countries, so is it based in Spain? How did you do it?
It's a British company I'm working with,
Okay.
based in the UK. Kevin was already working with them, so it was easier for me to know that yes, this is the right match for me. Because earlier I had a merch. Well, back then I thought I'm making merch, but anyone can print their images. I printed one of my emotes on a Streamlabs merch. So Streamlabs is one of the tools for streamers, and they make it very easy for people to just do a print-on-demand merch. But it's basically a basic t-shirt or hoodie, and you print on it whatever you want. Then they take their own cut and they ship it to the fans. I wanted to create an actual brand and no longer just have this print on demand. I'm using this third-party company. So I worked on this for the last couple of months, I think from end of March till basically now.
Like,
it's been a long process in that sense.
Is that because you had to take breaks and because you had to move and everything, or like did you diligently work on it? It just took 5 months.
It took 5 months, I think, because I wanted to make it the best design possible. So I started working with a team of designers, and we just basically did brainstorming sessions, emails back and forth, what patterns, ideas, what to relate it to.
Where'd you find them?
So basically, because Kevin was already working with them, I knew that this is a good company. If you want me to maybe put you in touch with them, I certainly recommend them. I don't know how's it for you though, if they are shipping from the UK. Maybe you need a similar company in the States.
Don't worry, this is not like a personal. A little bit. I'm kind of curious about what the process is like, but merch is. I frequently feel that 24 hours in a day is not enough, and if I added merchandise on top of this, I might jump off my roof. So with like a parachute, but it's that's something I have in mind. I would want to do it like you said, really well done, and I would probably want to go big. Like I want rent a warehouse and get it all shipped there, and then pay my little brother to package it.
Yeah, I understand it. Can I show you some of the details, if you don't mind?
Okay.
Merch plug.
Yeah, you'll have to.
Also, I'll send you one, obviously. I think, do you still wear black as a color? Because I know that you started wearing the pink hoodie, the galaxy and all that. Or do
I wear black.
Because I thought, so what I did, some of the merch has that cartoony design, because that was my original merch back then when I made it all by myself. So we called it the classic design, but we started adding a lot of street style wear that basically is just like, they have all their explanations and such, but they created a line that's basically street style with all sorts of cool. This is an isometric cube, which is based on the chess box puzzle. And I don't even know how the designers came up with, like, there's all sorts of puzzles, trivia. They did like an amazing job of like investigating what would be interesting for me, because I told them, chess, I love puzzles, I love this and that, and then they came up with it. This is the concept deck, Anna, what do you think? And they came up with a logo for me and all that stuff. But I wanted to show you how much they focus on details. So let me just get to the wardrobe next to David Hasselhoff, because he's the guard of the merch.
Okay. And for those listening on audio, you should just know that you're awesome, as Anna has just stepped away.
This is just a t-shirt design, but what I wanted to show you is that it's more, I'm plugging out my earphones. Wait a second. I'm back. That they basically design an entire brand around you, and it's more than merch in a sense that it becomes your own clothing line. So they all come with my own tag, with the design, the logo. Again, the lipstick is everywhere, all sorts of references. It is branded in every possible way, in the t-shirts, in the hoodies, and what I said about the details too, just that all of the clothing lines have these hidden details, but also the mugs and coasters, which is coming soon as well. It's just an entire concept, and around the concept they build all sorts of items, but very personalized, and at the same time super wearable and very good quality.
Did you need to make a company to?
I didn't know.
No?
So the company itself, the designer company, is the one through which I have my sales. I know that some streamers or content creators would basically have their own stock so that they are shipping it. I didn't want to have to be the person that sends it, because you and I, we already have very limited time, and that would require another person. I think for Rubius, it's his mom who is handling it. So I do think you need another person that can be fully in charge, because that's another full-time job to deal with the orders, to ship it, keep an eye on the printing, which one needs to come out next and such.
So does the company then own the logo rights? Like, if you wanted to go use that logo and do something else with it outside of this company that just made it for you, they own it, right? Like, it's there because they made it for you? Is that how it would work?
Yeah, with these designs, yes. But for instance, the classic design is based on my Twitch emote. So it was more like chess.com letting me use it initially as my old merch, and now they let me have it as part of the new designs, because they redesigned what used to be my only design.
Got you. If it's not like too intrusive, I'm curious what how does it work in terms of the split of like the cost of one of those things? Is it 50-50, or is it better than that for you, or is it worse because you have to pay like the designers, or is the designer fee separate? How does that?
I wish I remembered. I can look it up for you. I'm totally happy telling you, but I was just thinking, I had the discussion with them back in April, and ever since I've only been focusing on the actual designs and what we're putting out. I was happy, yes. And I was also happy that we made it very affordable and with the shipping rates super low, because a lot of times what happens with merch is that first of all, the price, it's $50 and above for anything you want to buy. Not in my store. And then when you go to the actual checkout, so you finally decided, okay, I'm going to spend this much on this item. You go to the checkout and they add another $30 minimum for shipping. And that's not cool with me. So we made a conscious effort on keeping the price of the items as low as possible for good quality, obviously. But the shipping on top of it is basically the lowest rate possible that there's for international shipping.
Wow, $30 more. That is crazy. I know that this bad stereotype with like creators dropping merch is they will put a tiny little thing on a hoodie, charge $75, and then that's sort of the meme. So my logic was that if I ever make a hoodie, the design that I create onto it will be very nice, and if I ever have the audacity to charge $75, it'll be like the best and most comfortable hoodie you have ever worn in your life. But that's hard to promise.
That's the thing, because I feel like with a lot of those creators who do end up selling them at a very high price and
Yep.
not even that good quality. So if you're paying for the quality, fair enough. And with the t-shirts and hoodies I have, we are using a very good base. So that already has a price on it. And then the margin is not really big in comparison to like how much the material is costing you. But if it's just some mediocre material sold super pricey just because it has this or that creator's name on it, I feel like that's outrageous also for the fact that some of the creators tend to forget that they have made it to where they are because of their community, because of their fans, and their fans are not in the same financial situation as them as creators. So they were made by that fan base, by that community, and now they are overcharging them for something that for an average person is not that accessible. So it is just bad in both ways, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. And it has now inspired me that I will do my merch through Balenciaga, and I will charge my subscribers $800 for a t-shirt. It'll just be a black and white chessboard t-shirt. And but that is a thing. I think I was reading somewhere that Kanye, who is worth like, billions of dollars, whenever you go to a concert or like a show, a theater performance, all the merchandise at the store is like crappy. You don't really think, you don't buy it the same way that if you ever travel to like a chess nationals here in the United States, you're not going to buy a commemorative t-shirt. Like very few people will, because it's like, you're going to throw it out in like a year or two. But I think what Kanye did is he made concert merch super flashy, like designer wear. He would specifically do things. So he redefined what it meant. So if you bought it there, it wasn't just, a souvenir for being at a concert. It was permanent clothes that you could wear beyond that. But the more I look at luxury items, the less I understand them. Maybe art, but
Yeah.
why are people buying watches that are $500,000? Like, it's just a level of wealth that I will never understand. Sorry to interrupt everybody, but at this point, while recording this episode, for some reason, the program actually crashed. So you're about to listen to Anna discuss moving to Spain alongside her boyfriend, Kevin. And the question that I had asked them is how difficult that process was and how that process came to be. I'm not going to interrupt again, though.
I figured out in that very first conversation with him that he was thinking of moving to Spain for a bit of time just to see how it goes. Like he was considering to rent a place for 6 months and see if he likes it there, because we are in a very lucky situation as content creators that as long as you have decent internet, you can basically work from wherever in the world you want to be working from. So he was considering moving abroad, and particularly to Spain, because he likes it as a country even before we became a couple.
Well, then it was probably that does seem like it would be pretty easy. Did he travel a lot before moving to Spain?
He traveled quite some, yes, and he lived abroad for a year, but that other country he lived in was Scotland, and it snowed in August. So I think in terms of good weather, he never actually lived in a country. Ireland is a beautiful country, super green. I love it there, but it's raining so often, and just because it's summer, it doesn't mean it's gonna be warm or sunny. I think temperature-wise, I don't mind it. If anything, in Spain, the summer is extremely hot and you need the air conditioning on if you want to make it through. But the sunshine, I think that what for me was the biggest thing that I missed for that year and a half I spent in Ireland, that it's just so gray and gloomy and the sun barely shows.
Yeah, I want to move to Los Angeles literally for one reason. And it's that if you ever go to the weather forecast for LA, like for example, I will go right now to Los Angeles. So the weather is 81, 79, 70 Fahrenheit. So I apologize for the Celsius people. 81, 82, 84, 82, 81, 82, and it's never anything worse than partly cloudy. There is no rain. The chance of rain is 10% or less. It's just sun and wind, and that's it. And New York is like one day we have a tropical storm. Now we're gonna have 2 days of clouds. Then there's an 100% chance of rain for 2 days. The temperature fluctuates anywhere between 15 and 20 degrees. And even in weeks we have rain. We have snow. 3 days later it's 60 degrees Fahrenheit. And then yeah, it's a disaster.
I didn't know it's changing that much in New York.
I visited.
Sunshine is a big booster. I agree with places like Los Angeles or Spain.
Yeah.
It's just such a huge boost for one's mood when you get up and it's bright.
Moving as a creator comes down to two things. Number one is how much money can you not pay to the government, depending on which state you live in.
Yeah.
The second one is probably like where you know people or weather, which I guess is a third thing. But I don't have a huge need to be in a place where there are a ton of other creators or opportunity to be featured in like a music video like LA. But LA is...
Are you saying you don't want to be in the next Bella Porch video? I love Pocky and Ludwig in the video.
Listen, if I was invited, 100% I would go. I just don't necessarily think I fit the profile. That's all I'm saying. I do my chess content, and I'm not very good at other video games. And
but what if she watches the daily recaps?
Maybe, yeah. I mean, if she's doing interested in chess, she seems like the busiest person in the world. But I guess the point is, like, if you move to LA with the hope of networking, it probably really helps to already have some in to a network. I don't know if it. It's not the same as moving to LA as an actor or actress trying to like make it onto the screen.
Yeah.
But yeah, LA is definitely a place that I would move, even though I would be paying more taxes than I am currently, which is over 50%. What are the Spanish taxes like? Is it also like that high, like 50%?
Yes, it's high. So it's certainly not the tax place to go to. And a couple of Spanish streamers, creators left to Andorra.
Where you pay 5%. Something like that, right? Isn't it like 10, 15%? How does that country sustain itself?
I don't know. I was there for an international chess tournament. It's a lovely place. It's all just like a very tiny location with beautiful landscapes. Andorra, it's just got like this lovely mountain ranges and valleys. It's a lovely spot. And even the capital feels like it's a small town in comparison to some of the big cities in the world. No, but it has a nice spa.
It has a tournament like Andorra Open or what?
Yeah. I think it was literally called the Andorra Open. I don't know what's with it now, because I'm guessing that the pandemic, unfortunately, had a negative influence or impact on a lot of chess tournaments that were over the board. So many tournaments moved online or stopped existing. I hope that they will start coming back once things are safer again. But it used to be every summer, I think every July. It was a lovely tournament. I recommend it.
Yeah, that does sound very nice. I had a friend who was trying to convince me to move to Andorra like 5 years ago.
Really?
I very absent-mindedly said friend. I wouldn't say that we were friends or enemies, but I knew him through chess, and we actually traveled to... he was at that tournament with me in Barbados, and now he's trying to become a GM. I think he's traveling Europe. He's always been kind of a research a foreign destination and go kind of guy. I think he lived in Peru for a little bit of time, and his logic was that the rent is low. And I was like, man, I don't think you need to move countries to get low rent. You can probably move like 90 miles. But he like went to Peru for some time. He was like living in Europe. So see, I always thought I was very much the kind of person who just goes to Google Flights and just buys a ticket and can just go. But for some reason, now that I don't know what the right word is, getting older or what, but I really...
You're so old, Levi.
I know, I want to plan stuff. It doesn't... I'm not comfortable winging stuff. I want some routine. So, that part of me has sort of died. Probably because nothing good happens out of just being completely spontaneous. But speaking of older times when there was no pandemic, you traveled a lot. You traveled a lot for tournaments. How many countries would you hit a year?
I felt like I was in a different country almost every single month, if not 2-3 different countries a month, depending on the length of the event. So I used to travel a lot to compete ever since I was a kid. A lot of tournaments were abroad, and to become a good player, well, good at my level, obviously I never became that good, but to be on the Olympic team, I felt like, since that was my goal, even as a kid, I had it on my wall. I cut out, I don't know if I ever told you this story, Levi, but I had a picture of me at around the age of 12, me playing chess. And because my goal was to be on the Olympic team, I cut out the emblem of the Olympic team from a box of vitamins, because they were the sponsor of the Olympic team. So I cut out the emblem, I glued it onto my picture, and I had it on my wall in my bedroom for years. Wow. That was the picture I looked at every day. And next to it, I also had a little note. I would write there the titles. I would write first woman international master. Then I swapped it for woman grandmaster. Then I swapped it for IM. Never swapped it for GM. I think I should have been maybe a bit more competitive and try to keep going for that. I think I never felt like I would be strong enough. I would get to the GM title. But until then, that picture for the 12-year-old Anna, I think it helped a lot to keep me motivated and train also when I didn't feel like, especially as a kid, when you could go outside and play ball games or do this or that. And instead I was like, no, I need to do my chess homework, or no, I need to go to my trainer. Now I have now this chess lesson. And it kept me going that I had this goal that I wanted to be on the Olympic team. And it meant a lot of traveling to go to international tournaments and keep trying to do my best at international opens. I traveled a lot, mainly in Europe, but then some of the tournaments that you go to are just like China. We went to China the same year where the Summer Olympics were there. We had our accommodation in the Olympic Village. I was like, maybe this was the room of Michael Phelps. I'm feeling great. It's like just in the Beijing? Exact same location. Indeed, the hotels were right next to the Bird's Nest, the stadium they had for the Olympic Games that year. That was the World Mind Sports Game organized just a few months after the Summer Olympics. So chess made me travel to places that I don't think I would have been able to visit: Singapore, Chile, Mexico, the States a couple of times, and almost every country of Europe.
I went to China.
Traveling.
I went to China for chess.
Oh, yeah. But wait, you were like in a remote location, weren't you? I remember this.
Yeah, they sent me to Weifang, China, which back then, if you went on Wikipedia, actually, I'm curious, if you go on Wikipedia now, what do you see? Weifang, China Wikipedia. But basically, the history section had nothing. Like, it was just this brand new, I'm clicking history. Yeah, it still has nothing. In 750 BC, a king declared Weifang as his capital. His son grew it to 600 people. In 100 BC, it grew to 10,000. By 1950, the population was 1 million. And by 2019, the population had skyrocketed to 10 million. That's it. It's just this population growth. And so it's a city 2 hours west of Qingdao, which is a coastal city in like the north, I guess northwest, if that's accurate. Kind of northwest, like more in the middle than all the way to the west. But there is like nothing there. It's known for kite flying, and apparently the military around there does exercises. So they changed my airport. Like, I was supposed to fly into a certain airport, and because the military was going to be doing training there that week, we were moved to a different airport at the last minute, which was pretty wild. It's like basically coming to the United States and going to like Montana. It's the equivalent of, that's where I was in China. So I saw none of China despite being there for 19 days, which is sort of upsetting, but I will be back, hopefully in the future.
You still can become a grandmaster. That's a huge difference between Levi and me. I'm very retired.
Anna,
I'm very retired.
Why? What happened? Did you just discover that being a commentator and a teacher made money and playing didn't? What was your reason for not pursuing it?
People always think, if they make assumptions, a lot of people are like, oh, because she must be making more money. And whatever decision I take, whether it's for streaming, whether it's for competing, a lot of people are just like, it must be the money. And whenever I read those comments, I'm like, money to me is the least of priorities. Obviously, you need to make a living. So obviously you need to earn a living. But other than that, I would always choose, if I had to pick between two options of like, Anna, do you want this job for this money? And then you do this, or do you want your current job for this money? I take this because I'm happy doing what I'm doing. The more money wouldn't make me feel happier, more fulfilled, more accomplished. It would be just a bigger number on a bank account, which I genuinely couldn't care less as long as I have enough and I can save and I can sometimes travel. I think it's sometimes people put so much weight on the financial aspect of things. Why would you, like, I don't know, Levi, if you're with me on this, but would you accept a job that you absolutely hate, but it gives you tons of money? Like, would you really want to be waking up every day to do something? I never hated any of my jobs. That's not what I'm saying. But like, it also matters how much you're enjoying what you do for work, because it's so many hours of our days and life is short. I wouldn't be doing something that I don't fully enjoy if I can pick something that I enjoy. And maybe it's not the top earning job, but I love what I'm doing.
Yeah, well, it depends on the money. If it was astronomical,
would you sell your soul?
yeah, for a little bit, definitely.
I see.
It depends. If it would come down to probably, the difference between the two. If it wasn't substantial to the point, like, I think what I've learned through all this growth, and us earning money as creators, doing everything we do, like you said, at a certain point, I lose my perception of money. Like, I don't understand what it's beyond a point. I don't, like, it's all the same in many ways, because I don't spend a lot and I don't have like bad spending habits. I buy my cryptocurrency. I like invest some money. I'll invest here and there. But I don't know, it hits a limit. Like I was mentioning the $500,000 watch. Like, I will never understand a life like that. I still am like, damn, this Uber is $40. I'd rather take the train. But I have days that I'm like, all right, what, $40, whatever. I'll sell a course or something. But I don't love spending tons of money. I just want to pay rent, make investments, like cover the cost of living, and if we want to splurge a couple times a month, great. So for me, I can't really speak in like whether I would take something or not, because we have this job that we currently have. I know that some people like work in banking and they end up working 70, 80 hours a week, but in the States, like, for example, that's something you end up going to school for. So you sign up for that life and then you try to get out. I've always been a big believer in work smart, not hard. So 100 hours a week is great, but like if I can cut that down somehow, and I think who was my guest? Was it Eric or Sagar? They were telling me about, I think it was Sagar Shah. He was saying there's a book, The 4-Hour Work Week. Optimizing.
We have that book too, but I just don't believe it's doable. I love the books of Tim Ferriss, but honestly, I don't think you can do it.
Most people can't. It's like if Jay-Z published the guide to become Jay-Z. There's one Jay-Z. Like, you're not gonna make a second one. So, some people, if they figure it out, they figure it out, and if not, then you can't aspire to be one of one in the world. You need to aspire to be like in the next pool of people, of which there potentially are many. That's what I think. I don't know. It's different though, because I was never in a position to be like one of one. Even on the YouTube thing, okay, if I become the biggest chess YouTube channel, there were still people who like inspired that, and also people on YouTube are absolute game changers, like Mr. Beast. So that's that you can say you carved out a niche for, but I don't know. Maybe if you're trying to be the world champion of chess, you have to think I'm going to be the one of one. But
for sure, and I'm sure that that small Magnus, tiny Mr. Carlson used to think that too. That you gotta believe in yourself, and you gotta have that faith that you can become the best of the best. But so many others do have it, and they don't become world champions.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, like I was talking to Sagar, I was saying, like, these young Indian players, do you think they're all thinking that they're going to be world champs? And what happens if they don't get it? Like, what do you fall back on? And he kind of said they just want to do their best, and they're interested in playing the best move in the game and letting the rest kind of go. But I always wonder if the best players in the world right now, top 10, 15, if any of them deep down know they will not be the world champion. And how do you combat that when you have a player like Magnus Carlsen? So I don't know. They would never admit it. I also would never ask them that. I feel like it's a bit too much. But maybe not. Maybe I don't know what it's like to be a champion of something like chess. So I've never had that kind of mindset. I've always had I don't know. I've always had the mindset of working within my means. But did you make a conscious effort to abandon the plan to become GM? Or is it something that sort of ended up happening? Like me, when I got to IM, I had a huge adrenaline dump because I never even believed I would get that title. So when I got that title, that's it. My life goal was fulfilled. And I'm curious if it was the same for you, or like, you lost some rating after or something like that.
I think it's similar for me. And that's why when I talked about the little note next to the picture, that was obvious at a later stage, but I was very motivated to get to Women Grandmaster that's the top the top title for women, and then to become an IM, because that's 100 rating points above Women Grandmaster. So I was like, yes, I can do it. I've got this. And until then, I was really ambitious and working really hard. And I think I believed that I was going to get there. But once I got the IM title and I was on the Olympic team, I no longer had a higher objective or motivation. It was more like, I want to stay on the Olympic team, because obviously every year you need to prove that you still are good enough to represent your country. And so I just kept training to maintain it. You still want to gain rating, but it's not that easy to gain rating when you're at 2400 or 23 something, close to 2400, even with my rating, because obviously for the international master title you need to cross 2400. My top rating written next to my name was 2393.
Yeah.
Then I played in 2 tournaments, and together with one tournament that was completed in Finland and the next tournament, part of it in Spain, so that the first couple of rounds, that made me cross 2400, because back then the rating wasn't counted every month. It would be like every quarter of a year.
Oh, wow.
I don't remember if it was, I think it was that era. But basically, because I started well that tournament in Spain, but the last couple of rounds didn't go well. It was quite a contrary. I only crossed it virtually.
Yeah.
And then what was written next to my name is that I lost rating at that tournament, even though I crossed it midway through. So that's another question I get a lot of times, like, wait, how can you be an IM if your top rating was 2393?
Yeah.
But luckily for me, for the title, it counts that during the tournament, I hit it and went above.
Yeah, I think the same with Anish in 2800, right? He crossed it in the middle of the tournament. And,
yes.
Officially, I think that's the story. Yeah, my peak was 2431, even though officially it's 2421, because I hit my peak of 2430, and then I dropped a bunch of points. So I hit my peak, and then I dropped like 85 points or something over the next 2 months. So
I also dropped immediately after getting the title. I don't know what's with that. Like, you work so hard for it, then you hit it, and then suddenly all the rating points. No,
it's just a big dump of adrenaline. I think what happened for me. Even now, I'm training, and I'm hopeful, and I like to play and I like to win, but I never thought I would just say it and not. And it wouldn't be a lack of self-awareness, but I legitimately don't have the time. Like right now, you have to prioritize certain things that will keep your career going and building for the future. And devoting 4 hours a day to studying opening lines just isn't it. It's just not. It's just not it. Even though I'm trying to do it. So if I do have some success, these other title players, they really trash. That's all I gotta say. Like they got no excuses losing to me, That's sort of the motivation. We have like 7-8 minutes before you have to go, so I'm curious what else is there on the agenda after now you've moved. So what does a Anna week look like? What are some future projects?
Currently, it's all about PogChamps because PogChamps 4 started. I don't know when this podcast is coming out, but it started a few days ago. I think that the answer will work. I'm coaching 4 of the participants. It's again a girl squad and honorary member of the girl squad, Rubio. So I'm helping them with the preparations, giving them lessons. Also, right after our podcast recording, I'm going to record a couple of videos for them because we don't always have time on stream to prepare. So I record mini tutorials of like, hey, with the white pieces, we do this in this next match, and with the black pieces, we do this. So I'm going to prepare a couple of those videos now for my students. And it's one of my favorite events of the year. So I just am basically living the PogChamps life as a coach, as a caster. Today I'm hosting the show with Miss Botas, I believe, and also just watching it as a spectator, because I think it's just such a fascinating event to see gamers, streamers, celebrities coming into the chess world as beginners. And they pick up chess. A lot of them only know how the pieces move, and we help them. Levi, you and I both have been coaching for so many months now. Well, if we add up the previous editions, we have been involved in PogChamps, and it's just really rewarding to see their journey, to help them from zero to go to hero in a way, because many of them do improve a lot, including Michelle Carré, who recently hit her rating objective of 1,000 rating points, and that took her 8 months. And some people, I just saw the tweet of Michelle celebrating, and obviously a lot of people are like congratulating her and saying, yeah, that's amazing, what an accomplishment. And then there are a few people like, wait, why are you celebrating hitting 1,000? Anyone can do that in a month. And I'm just like, seriously? That's what you want to put out there? If someone has worked so hard to achieve something that's totally not her fit. Michelle is a former competitive biker. She does a lot of physical challenges. She never actually took on a challenge, anything similar to this chess challenge. She has a challenge accepted series. She does all sorts of crazy cool things like FBI agent, firefighter academy, figure skating. She does it all, but she never has done a mental challenge like this. And so many times she wanted to give up because she didn't think it was the right fit. And then why do some people feel the need to belittle something that was truly so much commitment and hard work, and she made it against all odds?
Well, it'll always be the case. It is Twitter after all. In a nutshell, like why would you celebrate an individual hitting a rating milestone who, it took them 8 months or however many long games? Like, if that's the point that you're making, then that's you are within your right to make that point. But it's less of a how to say it's not like she broke a world record in speedrunning getting to 1,000. It's the fact that she's dedicated probably thousands of hours to a game that she absolutely did not have to. She went through a process that took the majority of this year while also working on a lot of projects. She had an 8 months or 6 months. Her project started at 8 months ago, I think, like 7-8 months ago.
Yeah, 8 months, exactly.
And she, like many adult players, struggled at the game and had a mental barrier that she had to break through, and she did it. Many people struggle with chess. Many people. Not all of them are the hosts of Challenge Accepted, except for Michelle. So, we all go through our different rating hurdles and barriers. Some people take years. Some people never break through a barrier. Some people stay 2,000 and then gatekeep the rest of chess society on Reddit. That's enough. They tell you what you should and shouldn't watch on YouTube. They tell you which courses are bad and good. And it's like, you've been the same level for a decade. Why should I listen to you? So you should celebrate, because everybody has a hurdle that they can overcome. I had it with Blitz. So, Anna, like I was telling Michelle when we recorded, like I could never break past 2740 Blitz. And then one day I did, and 2 days later I was 2800. And then now,
Look at you.
Yeah, like mentally, anytime I'm below 2,700 now, I'm like, this is embarrassing. Like my minimum now is 2,700. So you have to overcome these little barriers, and that's the only way you can get better. But yeah, but it's Twitter after all. I've noticed that there are like 10 to 15 accounts that do not respond to anybody on Twitter except for me. So it's probably people who made burner accounts just to interact negatively with my tweets.
That's dedication.
It is. It's honestly, It's honorable. You know, like I said, I've noticed people who were hateful on my main YouTube channel, who I banned from commenting. They don't know they're banned, so they just keep commenting. So they found my second channel, unfortunately. And now they're on my second channel putting hate, and they're writing stuff like, YouTube keeps recommending this content to me, so I'm going to keep writing hate. I was like, all right, well, it's going to keep recommending the content that you interact with. It's shooting yourself in the foot, you know? So
Yes. Oh my. I never understand that mentality when people spend so much time on spreading anything but positivity. Like, if you want to spread something, be kind, be helpful, spread nice things. But to spend this much time on spreading hate, toxic comments, negativity, I just don't get it. I don't get why they enjoy it.
I was going to say, only positivity you shouldn't spread is COVID.
Yeah.
Other than that, yeah, it's all fair. It's all good. Speaking of positivity, since we have to sign out very soon, what Anna-ism would you give the people, chess or otherwise, prior to us signing off?
What advice would I give?
Anything. We all need some Anna positivity in our life. So I
think because of what we mentioned and these comments and such, I find it's very important to be kind. I know, as simple as it is, and being kind starts with being kind to yourself, because a lot of people are super hard on themselves. They are never really truly feeling accomplished or loved. And the first thing I would say is that you gotta love yourself the way you are. We always have obviously flaws. There's things that we can improve on, but you gotta accept yourself the way you are. And then from then on, you can build on it. You can try to be the best version of yourself, but it starts with acceptance. It starts with accepting how we are, who we are, and then try to obviously improve so that you can be an even better version of yourself. And that will help the people around you, your loved ones, your family, your friends, to also feel great in your company. Spread kindness and not hate.
That was well said. All I would echo is that it's better to try to climb out of a rut and have someone hold your arm as you do it, rather than dragging people into the same rut. Because, you know, we all go through ups and downs. Even your favorite creators who might not show that on their YouTube videos, but ultimately we're all in this together. And I think kindness is the way to go. Being positive is the way to go, except for COVID. Don't. That's the one thing you don't want to be positive on.
Get vaccinated, folks, and take care of yourself.
Oh, you said it, not me this time. So now the 5 people who get very angry when I talk about this stuff in the comments are going to be like, so. Anna, was a pleasure catching up. I know you've got to go take over the world and do some fun stuff. So we will probably do some commentary for PogChamps, although this episode probably comes out after PogChamps. So I should put that in the past tense.
I'm sorry. I already did my commentary with Ms. Botes for PogChamps 4. It was great. I think we had a fun time. Ludwig versus Mr. Beast and all the rest of the clashes.
Yep. And
check the highlights and recaps.
Yes, highlights and recaps.
Honestly, can I finish on that note? Because I know that when we did our monthly coverage on Hikaru's channel for the Champions Tour, I kept saying that, yeah, the Gotham chess recap videos, and it kind of became a meme that I always say it, but it's true. I don't have time to watch 5 hours of coverage. I would love to, but I don't have the time. Us creators, great content. We don't actually have the time to consume much content. So what I do to know what's happening in the chess world, yes, I watch the Gotham Chess daily recap videos. And I'm not saying it as a plug. I no longer am hosting the shows with Levi. I miss the company. But I do watch the recaps because I need to know what's going on. And that's my way of making sure that I'm always up to date with the most recent events. That game of Carlsen against Firouzja, goodness me. That was
a sick game. Yeah. Sometimes to catch up on the tournament, I will watch my own recaps. No, but but yeah, I appreciate the plug, and I tried to respond by plugging back on Twitter your merch. I said that if people don't buy your merch, they suck. It was mildly aggressive and a bit of a guilt trip, but.
Yeah, way too kind. It's annachess.store, if it's okay for me to say it. And I just wanted to also add to the plug that I recently have recommended your recap videos to none other than Judith Polgar. So she said she will check out your channel.
Wow, that is absolutely terrifying. Wow. I'm scared to invite her to the show now. She's gonna have to be like, wow, this guy is the biggest idiot I've ever seen in my life. No, it's I am mildly intimidated by some of these strong players. A friend of mine showed me that, like, I think someone from the community paid Vishy Anand, like, on a cameo to do a congratulations of me hitting 1 million subscribers on YouTube. And yeah, Vishy recorded like some clip on his cameo, and it was like I was watching Vishy say danger levels, and I was like, oh my god, oh, it's Vishy, that's crazy. So
that is awesome.
Yeah, but slightly terrifying. You know, I kind of like being the role model of chess for like the 1800 and under club, and everybody else is like in their own little world. But well, thank you for that recommendation, and yeah, maybe I'll talk to Judith about that at some point.
Please do.
This was great. Let's be in touch, Anna.
Likewise, thanks so much for inviting me. My viewers were asking all the time on Twitch why I'm not on the podcast. Obviously, there are other guests that can be invited too. So it's okay that I was on the first guest, Levy. I will forgive you.
As always, if you made it this far in the episode, I just want to say thank you, as always. To support Anna, you know what to do. She's got courses out there on multiple platforms. She is frequently streaming on Twitch and making YouTube content. You can go subscribe or follow. She's also active on Instagram and on Twitter. And if you'd like to support me, I go through this every episode, but I have various donation links scattered around. I also am on Twitch and on YouTube and Instagram and Twitter. And if you'd like to buy one of my courses, I've got 9 of them. They're on my website. Till next time, I'll see you back here in Gotham City with our next guest.